So whenever we notice anything like a thread of jealousy come up, and this happened for me a few weeks ago actually, something I hadn't felt in, I can't even remember how long. And it was triggered for me with somebody, and I was like, God, that's very interesting. What is going on there? And I had to really look at it. I had to really look at, Emer, what's happening here that you're feeling jealous of this person? What's happening? And I had to really look at where I was in myself, and I had to look at where my self-worth was measuring in that. Because that's exactly what was happening. And sometimes what we can do in those situations, and I caught myself doing this, right? So I went into the feeling of, oh, I feel jealous of this person. And then I flipped it around and I said, oh, no, but I'm better than this person. Imagine. So then I didn't feel the jealousy anymore, but I was feeling better than the person. I was feeling more advanced and, infinitely more wise and all this kind of stuff. And I caught myself in that. I was like, no, that's the same thing, just the other way around.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same feeling, except I'm just turning it around. I'm making it about my pride. I feel good in myself now. Whereas the jealousy, I felt a bit shit in myself. So I had to catch both of those. And as best I could, pull them out. But there's still a root of that I'm watching. I'm watching for anything else that triggers that. So that I can find out how to pull that little root out. Yeah? And for me, it's definitely linked in self-worth. Doing this kind of work is, there's all sorts of levels in it, and there's all sorts of dimensions that we can work in and connect. And some of those feel amazing. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. Other areas are very, very hard work. But when it's feeling in the amazing areas, it's so easy for our ego to be fed by that. For us to have this feeling of, yeah, I'm so spiritual. And go around like this. It can happen in a flash. So when we learn how to really watch that and catch that, we can catch it before it becomes something so strong that it starts to ruin us. Yeah. These are all part of kind of the human mind. It's all part of how we function. So if I ever get to a point where I feel like I've achieved some kind of a perfection as a person, shoot me. Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's not real, because that perfection is a stop point. Everything else where I'm feeling and exploring and questioning and looking at my reactions, looking at my response, it's dynamic. I'm alive in that. For me, perfection feels very dead. As an energy, if we feel we've reached a perfection of something, dies. You ever see that with musical artists or things like that? When they feel they reach this level of perfection, the creativity dies. Everything dies in that. Yeah. So we're exactly like that. So when we feel things like jealousy or envy or those kinds of things, there's a few things that it's good to look at. First of all is, what company are we in? What is in my immediate surroundings that maybe is influencing that? So if I'm sitting in the company of people who are gossipy, bitchy, jealousy, envy is naturally going to feed into that energy also. Yeah? It's the, would you like to stay to him, stay to her? Yeah, this kind of energy. Jealousy, envy are natural byproducts of that. Comparing ourselves with others, comparing better or comparing worse, is naturally a part of that kind of energy. So look at your environment, look at the people that you're with. And then take an inner reading of, am I really jealous of this person? Is this real and current for me now? Or is this some old part of me that I just haven't seen for a while? That's how it felt for me that a few weeks ago. It was like, God, like blasphemy of the past. to have that feeling. And to watch the thoughts about how they were coming up. What exactly had triggered that? New situation for me as a teacher. I was like, oh, what's going on in So looking in our inner world and seeing, is this something new or some blast from the past? And then we look at what particular aspect is it touching into? Am I feeling jealous because they earn more money than me? Am I feeling jealous because they feel better looking than me? Am I feeling jealous because they're smarter than me? Yeah, all of these things. They give us our little pointers as to what we're really feeling insecure about. So if we're not confident with money, if we feel that money is something that we're not able to have, or we work very hard but we're not earning very much money, or whenever we do have money it's spent nearly before we got it, yeah, then there's a question of self-worth in that. If we're looking at other people going, oh, how come they got that job and they're paid 20,000 more than me, or whatever it is. See, when it comes to abundance, everything is available for everybody. There's no rules in that. So if we get stuck in a jealousy or envy kind of a trap, we're blocking our own abundance. We're blocking our own success in that. Everything in abundance is, if you would like to have this, line yourself up and make whatever effort, and that's for you. It's that straightforward energetically. But if we're looking at, let's say, a really nice car, and we have this inner feeling that's, oh, I could never afford that. I could never have that. What would people even think if I drove a car like that? And we stop ourselves having it. But then we feel jealous if we see somebody driving around in it. Remember that situation years ago? This was among friends, and one person in the group bought a really nice car. And somebody else in the group was kind of bitching about it, going, oh, state of them buying that car. And I'm like, you could buy that car if you wanted. And they genuinely could. They had like loads of money saved. Money was not the issue. It was not being able to let themselves have. But feeling really thick about it, that somebody else felt that they could just go and buy that fabulous car and drive it around and really enjoy it. Yeah? So it's really good when envy or jealousy comes up in some way, that we really let ourselves question our mindset in that. We question what limitation kind of mindsets we have let stick to us, of what you're allowed or not allowed to have. And looking at the different messages of within our culture, within family culture, within society culture, of how certain things are allowed. The levels that we're allowed to grow to, and where we feel that we reach a barrier in that. Yeah? These are really good to look at and see, is there something in that that's limiting me growing myself, or having something, or doing something that's outside of that typical culture. Yeah? So don't be jealous, but if you catch it, allow it to follow the thread of it, and let yourself find what insecurity it leads to. What issue around self-worth or inadequacy or not being able to have or not being able to do that it leads to. And when you find it, you get to change that. You really, really get to transform that if you want to. So if you really, really want to be a pilot, are you colorblind or anything like that? So you could totally still be a pilot.